What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another AEW Week in Review. I apologize in advance. The heater is on in the back, so you're going to hear that hissing probably throughout the video. Sorry. Not the worst thing that I'll probably do during this video. So as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. As always, with my AEW Week in Review, what I like to do is go through everything that happened this week in AEW, from BTE to Dark to Dynamite, and I have to say, this was the biggest week in AEW's history, possibly even in wrestling's history, with the amount of stuff that went on just in Dynamite alone. It is incredible. Obviously, right off the bat, new champ, Sting, collaboration with Impact. Everyone that was getting hating on Tony Khan for his comments about the changing of the wrestling landscape, and because it didn't happen that second. I mean, everyone's quiet now. They're quiet now. So, anyway, so let's jump right in. Also, I posted my NXT TakeOver War Games preview and predictions on the channel as well. I'll put a link at the end of this video as well. And I'm also going to be doing my WWE Week in Review. I'll also be doing my NXT War Games review and reaction and results, whatever you want to call it. That'll be on Monday. So we can jump right into this because we got a ton to talk about. So we're going to start off with BTE. The title of this episode was the $1,000 Shot, and I got to tell you, this was awesome. So we start off with Private Party talking about Payback from LAX, kicking their ass. So they trick Ortiz into eating the hot chip. Cassidy says, I might be wrong about this, so apparently he was, because Ortiz completely no-sells it, acts like, it wasn't that hot. He then walks into the trailer and absolutely freaks out, which I thought was funny. Which I expected to happen, because there's no way. Those chips are ridiculous. I can't stop the heater. It's a building-wide thing, so sorry, guys. So we have Cutler, next segment, Cutler with one of the cameras, and he's like knocking on it. He's testing it out. Obviously, Kazarian walks up to him, and he's like, what are you what are you doing? He's like, I heard, I'm supposed to look at a hard cam, but like they're all hard. So obviously he goes, what's your middle name, Mark? Completely just shits on him again, because now this is the new thing that Cutler is like learning all the new lingo and taking it, literally and not figuratively. Marco asks about the anger management classes. He comes out and says, have you fucked yourself today? So it was pretty funny. Cutler cam of Dynamite, just for a bunch of the matches that happened. The Bucks are playing like basketball backstage with like not an actual basketball and hoop. Matt Hardy walks in, singing their praises. Talks about how he subbed in for Stone Cold, and Stone Cold took his ball and walked away. This new persona, and he thinks that the Bucks have a bad attitude toward him, and he says, change your tone, or I'm taking my ball and going home. So obviously this new persona of Matt Hardy about how he's such a dick. Man, of all the times that this thing had to come on, even though it's kind of cold, but yeah, like right when I wanted to record, and I can't really shut it out, unfortunately. I don't have that equipment or know-how. So Kip is asking Cutler, where is Leva? He says he wants to be here in video games next week, so that he's challenging her to some kind of challenge next week. We get John Silver with the Dark Order. He's upset about his match. Anna's upset too. They go back and forth about who, Anna, John, Anna, Silver, Anna. So that was funny. Colt comes in. He's back to normal finally. Says, you guys need to hug it out. And Silver completely snubs Anna and hugs Ten instead. Anna hugs Stu, but then, whispers that he still hates him and calls him a little bitch. And obviously no one hears it but him. So Uno gives a pep talk. They do a great big group hug. And then Hangman's watching from the outside, with the sad music in the background, seeing how they're all together. He trips over a chair trying to leave. We get Jurassic Express with Super Panda. Anna and Ty Conti walk by. Ty doesn't like dinosaurs anymore. Super Panda sings, and actually he's a pretty decent singer, and they're impressed by him. And then Marco's like, you know what, that's my gimmick. He's pretty pissed off. He's like, I sang with Fozzy, which apparently he did. Apparently he's a pretty good guitar player and singer. So then we get the final segment, BTE title match. As teased last week, the mustard packet toss. So it's Silver versus Trent. Essentially, it's just there's like one of those little dishes on a table, and they're far back with mustard packets, and whoever gets in them first. So the first to make it in the pail wins. Trent is still suffering from puking his guts out because this is literally happening right after his the hot chip challenge. So they do a speed up version because these guys are missing everything. Trent has one that bounces out, so then they fill a little bit of water to see if that changes it. Nick says, you know what, I'll PayPal $500 to the next person who gets it in the next 2 shots. Of course they miss. Then they miss some more. Then Nick says, you know what, I'm going to put $1,000 on it to the next person who makes it within the next 2 shots. And on the second shot, Silver hits it, and we literally watch Nick PayPal John Silver $1,000. Trent is absolutely heartbroken over this. You know, for a title that he didn't want, didn't care about, now he's absolutely invested in. And there you have it, the $1,000 richer and still BTE title holder, John Silver. And that is BTE for the week. We have next another big episode of Dark. You know, there's been some rumors. Tony had talked about possibly breaking it up into more of a complete developmental, more like an NXT type thing. Pre-NXT, becoming more mainstream. And then, as opposed to having just actual, like, roster talent facing, like, how Dark was in the very beginning when there was just the actual roster members and having, like, big-time matches. Like that lights out match between Kenny and Joey Janela, which was absolutely ridiculous. We'll see what ends up happening there. Nothing's going to happen, obviously, before the new year, and obviously I think they want to wait till more likely there are fans there before they start trying to figure it out what they want to do. Because the actual idea of it is, I'm getting to know some of the, enhancement talent and some of the other talent that are getting signed, like, Garrison and Pillman and the Acclaimed, Caster and Bowens. And just some of the talent that doesn't get to be on Dynamite each week, we're getting to see them as well. So I do like the idea of Dark, and so we'll see what ends up happening with that. Agogo is on commentary for a little while, so we get KTB versus Shawn Spears. During the match, Sky's music hits. He comes out with the slug that he refused to use in the last match. He sits down on the ramp. Spear gets the sharpshooter on KTB for the win. Sky, no acknowledgement. Sky gets into the ring. He actually TKOs KTB and then leaves. So obviously Spears, he's playing mind games with Spears. Next we get Ricky Starks versus Damian Fenrir. More offense from Fenrir than I expected. But eventually Ricky Starks gets the Rochambeau for the win. Pretty standard, there you go. So then we have Danny Limelight versus Brandon Cutler. Obviously Cutler is still on his win streak. We had a Dragon Rana by Limelight for a 2 count. Limelight with the slap. And then we get a wheelbarrow facebuster by Cutler, but only gets a 2 count. Cutler gets posted. Limelight focuses on the left arm after the posting. Cutler counters an armbar with a powerbomb. Limelight with a rear naked choke. Cutler backs into the corner to break that up. We get a suicide dive by Cutler. Countered into a Fujiwara on the outside. That was actually a pretty clever move. We get a springboard attempt by Limelight, but caught into the TPK for the win. So Cutler, I believe it's 5 wins now in a row for him. John Cruz versus Peter Avalon. Pretty Peter. Avalon concerned with hits to his face because that's his new gimmick, that his face is so beautiful, even though once on BTE he said, he gets the irony, he's ugly. Eventually, Avalon hits the flapjack and then the martinis for the win. So I like the martinis are now his finisher, whereas they were more of a setup move when he was 1, not winning, and 2, when he was tagging with Cutler. Tesha Price versus Shanna. Welcome back, Shanna. She had been quarantined, I believe, in France for a while. That was unfortunate. We get a step-up Rana and then a crucifix pin by Shanna for a 2 count. Tesha takes control. Eventually, Shanna hits a stunner, a basement dropkick, and then a tiger suplex for the win. Welcome back, Shanna. Back to the winning ways. I really like Shanna. I love her gear because it's Dragon Ball Z Goku inspired. So, we get a backstage interview with Sky. Spears apparently won't give a rematch to Sky. Sky just picks up and leaves, doesn't say a word during the interview. So we get Kylan King versus Catalina Perez. We had a missile drop kick by King, German release by King. Eventually, she hits the Kingdom Come, which is kind of like almost like a Casadora facebuster herself. Sit down Casadora facebuster for the win. So Kylan King, they're allowing her to kind of get a little more cachet here on Dark. Something I had talked about earlier. She's had some wins. Obviously once she gets more to the more main talent, she either is tagging with them or loses, but that's fine. That's getting the experience, and she's got a good look. She's taller, so she's got a good size against a lot of these competitors, and she's got a decent moveset. She's got a lot of power behind her, so a little more seasoning. Who knows? Adam Priest and Sean Maluta versus Best Friends. Best Friends. So we got a fireman carry gutbuster by Trent on Priest. Northern Lights for a 2 count. Trent is taking heat for a little bit. We get a swinging DDT on Maluta. He finally gets the hot tag to Chuck. Trent with a spear on Maluta on the outside. We get a sexy Chucky knee by Trent on Priest. Soul food half and half on Priest. Obviously, they got to give the people what they want, so we get the hug. Then we get rolling pile drivers on Priest for the win. Once again, as I always say, I love when single competitors or tag team wrestlers do moves that aren't necessarily their known finishers to finish a match. I love that. I enjoy that because it's just like it makes near falls more exciting. If you only know that this guy is going to win with his finisher, then what's the point? Then it's not a close call. You're not excited by it. You're just waiting for it. So there you go. Alex Gracia versus Leva Bates. Starks is on commentary now. I think this was new music for Leva. Brings out the Young Bucks book. They make fun of her on commentary for trying to, curry favor. But then both Taz and Starks say that they love the book, even though they probably haven't even read it yet. I don't read a lot, but I think I'm actually going to get this book. I think I want to get it and read it, and maybe I'll even do a review. Who knows? Show of respect before the match. We get a roll through spear by Leva. It was very slow. That's part of my problem with Leva Bates. A lot of her moveset is very, very slow in the ring. Northern Lights by Leva for a 2 count. We get a head takeover pin for the win for Leva. Kind of captured the arm and the head there, which is actually pretty clever. Then gives Gracia the Bucks book, and they actually smile and show off the book. So I guess they're making fun of Gracia now too, that she is currying favor. 6-man tag Gun Club versus VSK, Angel Fashion, and Sean Donovan. They come out cosplaying as Taz the Gun Club, which I thought was funny, and both Ricky and Taz are flipping out over it. That was actually pretty funny. We get Colton taking heat for a while, gets the hot tag to Austin. Eventually, Austin gets the quick draw on VSK for the win. I like the quick draw. I know some people don't. I do. So then we get Matt Seidel versus Aaron Solo. Seidel with the PK to the back and then a standing Mariposa for a 2 count. Northern Lights bomb by Seidel for a 2 count. He hits like a Trouble in Paradise. Solo hits like looks like a Trouble in Paradise. Gets a 2 count. Matt Seidel gets the Cobra Clutch, which he's been finishing people off on. Solo fights out of it, but then eventually Matt Seidel hits what I believe is like a page turner for the win. Next we get Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus Baron Black and Fuego del Sol. Del Sol taking heat, hot tag to Black. Stu hits the Nightfall on Black on the outside. Eventually, Uno hits his kind of flatliner variation on Fuego del Sol for the win. Kind of like, almost looks like it's like a Sister Abigail kind of setup, or like a suplex setup into it. It's really interesting. Really good move. Once again, it is a singles competitor in a tag match using a finisher other than the what do you call it? The death something. What's the move that they use? The fatality. There you go. See, I'm remembering somewhat. Instead of the fatality gory special facebuster bomb. So for the win, Dark Order wins. Then we have Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman, who will later be called the Varsity Blondes, obviously a take on his father, Brian Pillman, Senior's tag team with Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. They're against Cesar Bononi and Ryzen. Pillman in the ring early, getting isolated, getting beat down in the ring early, getting isolated. Hot tag to Garrison. We get an avalanche belly to belly on Ryson. Cesar breaks up the count. We get the flipping neck breaker, spinebuster combo for the win. So obviously, once again, same thing as Kylan King, getting wins, building up a rapport with the viewing audience, showing what they got. I appreciate that. Yes, when they face people who are more roster established, they are not getting those wins yet, but they're getting the good experience, they're getting the exposure. This is what Dark is all about. Lindsay Snow versus Ivelisse. No Diamante out with Ivelisse this time. So they're fighting on the apron. Ivelisse hits a cannonball senton to the outside. Shining Wizard from Snow only gets a 2 count back in the ring. Ivelisse hits a really cool scorpion kick. We then get her kind of roll through and then front face kick for the win there. Ivelisse, I'm not sure what they're doing with Ivelisse and Diamante at this point. I know they have that tag team tournament. Once again, I don't know. Obviously, I like Ivelisse. I like Diamante. I think they're good. I think, this is good for the women's division. But once again, don't know what they're doing. Acclaim versus George South Jr. and Bobby Wayward. Just great. Another great diss track. I am really enjoying Max Caster's diss tracks when he comes in, just shitting all over them. Looks like Bowens was trying to do a DDT, float over DDT twice, botched it both times. Eventually, they hit the Acclaim to Fame for the win. Once again, same thing I keep saying, the Acclaimed, and they just, we'll see them later. They are really making themselves known, even on Dynamite now. I like this. Chaos Project versus Alex Chamberlain and Seth Gargis. Gargis looks really impressive. He's got huge size, but he's also able to do kip ups and all this stuff. Very impressive. I don't know if they see something in him maybe going forward. I definitely do. Chaos Project, famous for using Serpentico as a weapon. That's essentially what this match was all about, was just Luther just slamming him on top of him and using him as a weapon. Eventually, Chamberlain gets the hot tag to Gargis. He's taking out Serpentico. But eventually they hit the creeping death on Gargis for the win. So once again, Chaos Project, same thing I keep saying. Lady Frost versus Red Velvet. So we got Lindsay Snow and Lady Frost. They should have a tag team for sure. Frost misses a standing moonsault. Velvet hits hers for a 2 count. Casadora Bulldog by Velvet. And then hits the Just Desserts, running a kick to the side of the face for the win. We then get our main event, a triple threat tag team match. Dark Order of 5 and 10 versus Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Joey Janela, and Sonny Kiss. We get Kiss and Janela with a very Motor City Machine Guns-like offense on Jungle Boy. It was really cool. Janela is tossed over the top into the cameraman. The cameraman goes down. Janela flips off 5 after a frog splash. We get Janela with the hot take to Kiss. He's taking out Dark Order. 5. So apparently the commentary says that Jungle Boy's had 50 matches without injury. What a fucking mush. Why would you ever say that? We get Casadora on 10 countered into a wheelbarrow slam. That was impressive. Standing Spanish Fly by 5 on Jungle Boy for a 2 count. We get the hot take to Luchasaurus. He's taking everyone out. We get a choke slam by Luchasaurus. 10 catches. So he choke slams 5 out of the ring, but 10 catches him, and then 10 tosses 5 into a DDT on Janela on the outside. We had a dive by Jungle Boy onto 10 on the outside, and his head hit the barricade, and that looked rough. We had an assisted cutter on Kiss by Jurassic Express for a 2 count. Janela does a Death Valley driver on 5 onto Jungle Boy on the apron. That was ridiculous. This was a crazy match. 10 gets powerbombed onto Janela for a on the apron. And then 10 powerbombs Janela on the apron for just to do it. That looked bad. And then Kiss hits a moonsault from the top to the outside on 5 and Luchasaurus. And then I checked my Twitter because I put a video out about this. This was insane. So Sonny Kiss is jumping on Luchasaurus. He gets him in a fireman's carry. Janela is taking shots on Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus is no-selling them. Jungle Boy gets on the top rope, then does a leapfrog off of Sonny Kiss, who's in the fireman's carry position, into a fucking destroyer on Janela. What? It was Taz says, "What the hell?" Aubrey Edwards is and Excalibur with the Destroyer. It was hysterical. It was ridiculous. It was awesome. Holy shit! What the fuck moment. We get an assisted powerbomb by Jurassic Express on 5 for the win. Jurassic Express wins. A very crazy main event. Once again, I'm still not understanding why they're not doing the 3 men in the ring for the for that. I really would appreciate that a lot more if they had 3 men in the ring. But I digress. That is Dark. Let's just see where we're at here real quick. What are we at? 20 minutes, not bad. Okay, so we got a lot to get through on one of the biggest episodes of Dynamite ever. Woo! Special Winter is coming. Introduction to this. We then start off with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. I particularly enjoyed this. I'm going to get through this as quickly as possible. So we have Sky, Spears, Janela, Hardy, both members of Private Party, Silver and Reynolds, Miro, Kip, Seidel, Luther, Serpentico, MJF, Wardlow, Sammy, Paige, Lee Johnson, Jungle Boy, and Orange Cassidy. I think I got everyone. So it's a scramble setting. Everyone just gets in and starts beating each other. Sky and Spears have a standoff on the outside of the ring, not getting in at first. MJF comments before he says with Wardlow and Sammy, this is our ring. Talking about his Dynamite Diamond ring. So Cassidy sent out by Hardy. Dark Order combo on Serpentico. Paige eliminates them. Luther eliminated by Dark Order and then celebrates with Paige. Spears, so Dark Order celebrates with Paige, or at least try to. Spears hits a C4, eliminates Seidel on the ramp. Sky sends out Spears. Spears cheap shot Sky with the slug. Wardlow eliminates Spears. We get Silver. Silver knocks Alex out of the ring by accident. We get a low bridge by Hardy, which sends Silver out, which gets the crowd booing. Dark Order saves Paige from elimination, so he gets knocked onto the apron. They catch him, and he's like, send me back in, send me back in. And the crowd pops hard for this. He gives a buckshot lariat to one of the members of, I believe it was Private Party. I think it was Mark Quinn. But Hardy then eliminates Paige, so everyone was, once again, Hardy just taking a lot of heat for his eliminations. Orange gets Kip out. Kip attacks him on the outside. Miro goes on the absolute warpath, sends out Lee, sends out Hardy, Quinn, Janela. This is a great showing for Miro. The Inner Circle members all attack Miro. He then has a standoff with Wardlow. It's an absolute horse battle. Eventually they beat the shit out of him and send him out. We get Inner Circle versus Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy and Sammy, a wild sequence on the apron. MJF sends out both. I mean, he meant to send out Jungle Boy, who takes out Sammy with him. Sammy then believes that MJF went to do it on purpose. So apparently Orange Cassidy is still left because he never went over the top rope. He just got beat on the outside. Eventually, Cassidy orange punches and sends out Wardlow and win. So the last, as the Diamond Battle Royal rules are, the last 2 members will then face off the next week for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. So it's now going to be MJF versus Orange Cassidy for the ring. So MJF will be defending it. Obviously, Cassidy lying out, after a very exhausting match. Miro comes out to get the best friends who came out to celebrate with Orange Cassidy. All the refs are holding him back. Miro looked like an absolute monster. I loved it. Okay. We then get Jericho versus Kazarian. The first time they face each other, apparently, in their careers. Ortiz and Hager are out with Jericho. Kaz apparently once beat Okada, they said. We get a springboard leg drop on the apron by Kaz. Inner Circle try to distract Kaz. Jericho hits a code breaker. Ortiz with the mad ball on the outside. Jericho is in control during picture-in-picture. We get a line saw. Kaz gets the knees up. Follows with a springboard leg drop for a 2 count. Avalanche Spanish Fly, or a flux capacitor, apparently they're calling it, by Kaz for a 2 count. That was crazy. Kaz gets the Boston Crab. Ortiz wants to get involved, but they're trying to hold him back. MJF and Wardlow come out. MJF wants to throw in the towel. Sammy comes out to stop him, grabs the towel. Eventually Jericho gets out of it. Jericho sees Sammy with the towel and going like, what the hell are you trying to do? We get pinning attempts, but Jericho finally able to hit the Judas Effect for the win. So the Inner Circle are celebrating in the ring. Then a shoving match ensues with the two kind of sides of what's going on. I don't believe Santana was out there this week. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Jericho says, stop this shit. Gives an ultimatum, says we're either going to work together or the Inner Circle is going to break up. You have 1 week to figure out what you want to do. So we get Marvez backstage with the Bucks. Apparently they're going to face TH2 next week. And he says, you know what, win and you get a title shot. Acclaimed, they crash. Max roasts them about how they look like they're looking at each other's junks in the cover of the magazine. Now I can't not see that, which is pretty funny. TH2 attack them, and then SCU run them off. Because SCU obviously has had their problems with the Hybrid 2 as well. We get Britt Baker versus Layla Hirsch. Comments from earlier, from Britt Baker going after Thunder Rosa. I love that Tony just says, like, what a bitch to Britt Baker, even though they're supposedly best friends. Britt's making fun of the height of Layla Hirsch and then gets put in a Fujiwara. Fish hooks out of the armbar, which I think is hysterical. We get a super kick and then a DDT by Britt. Britt is in control during the commercial break. Pump kick, German release from Hirsch. Britt pulls Reba in front of a diving Hirsch. Hits a sling blade on the floor. We get a final flash knee and an armbar by Hirsch. Countered into the lockjaw, but then gets back to an armbar. Hirsch does. Reba distracts, hits, and then Britt Baker hits the page turner and then the lockjaw for the win. Immediately, once Britt Baker wins, Thunder Rosa's out there attacking her. Reba tries to attack Thunder Rosa. Hirsch hits a Saito suplex on Reba. They go at it. Rosa and Britt Baker go at it again. More people come to break it up. I assume there's going to be some kind of tag match or something like that with Britt Baker and Reba versus Hirsch and Thunder Rosa, or something like that. We get Cody and Darby versus Starks and Hobbs, and this is the first of two ridiculous sequences that happen on Dynamite. So we get a recap video package. The brawl starts, they just start brawling. Cody and Darby in control through the break. They're isolating Ricky Starks. Hobbs destroying Darby once he on the outside. Darby's taking heat for a while. Hobbs with the ragdoll bear hug on Darby. You get a hot tag to Cody. Gotta sit for this one. And then we get a Cody cutter, coffin drop on Starks for the win. Arn comes in to try and help them out. Arn takes a beating. Dustin comes out to help. Cage comes out, F5 on Dustin. All of a sudden, they get up Cody. They're holding him. Hobbs is about to hit him with the FTW title. The lights go out. We get a video package. Fake snow's coming from the ground. It's fucking Sting. Sting. It's Sting! Tony goes. Just the hearing of that. Sting being on TNT. Tony with the call after 20 years. Holy shit. I mean, we heard possible rumors that Sting could be in it. I mean, obviously there was a deal he had with Mattel, which was through WWE. That expired recently. And so there was a thought maybe he would come to AEW. Holy fucking shit. They all run off. He comes in there, brings out the bat, does a stare down with everybody. With Arn Anderson, with Cody, and a great one with Dustin, and a great one with Darby. He looks at half the face painted. He looks at the other half face not painted. I mean, this is, a lot of people have said Darby is kind of like a second coming of Sting in a lot of ways, not just the face paint. This was huge. They immediately announced that he's been signed to a multi-year deal. We don't know, obviously, in what capacity. I assume it's not going to be very much in a wrestling capacity ever since he had that injury from the match with Seth Rollins, taking that buckle bomb and hurting his spine. So we're going to see exactly what happens out here. We do find out next week. We get the Diamond Ring Finals, MJF versus Cassidy, the Bucks versus TH2. If TH2 win, they get a title shot. Dustin versus 10. Inner Circle Ultimatum, FTR, welcome back, versus the Varsity Blondes. Abaddon will be in action. Archer and the Lucha Brothers tagging versus Eddie, Butcher, and the Blade. And Sting will speak for the first time in who knows how long, so we'll find out more about what he's going to do. We then get Sheeta backstage, saying she's not afraid of someone playing zombie cosplay. We then, some kind of like banging or something happens backstage, and she's like, was that you? Whatever. She's like, you know what, let's finish this, later. And Marvez is like, well, no, this is live. She's like, okay, we'll do it another day, and just leave. So you can tell she's kind of spooked, which I don't know how I feel about that, because it's kind of making Sheeta look like, like a scared chicken shit almost. Obviously after everything she's gone through, now Abaddon's getting the better of her, so this will be interesting to see how they do that. So we got earlier in the day Moxley promo. It says a little something extra is in the air tonight. He can feel it. He bitch slapped the world across the mouth for writing him off, which obviously many people did. Him and Omega are the opposites, but they're both after the same thing. They're the two best in the world. And then we have it here. Your main event, the AEW title, Moxley versus Omega. We get Don Callis on commentary, asked to be there by Omega as he was at Full Gear. No cleaner girls this time. Mox goes for the rear naked choke early, Omega to the ropes. We get a standing Rana and then a black by Omega, a black hole slam by Moxley. Moxley with the suplex on the floor. Kenny gets rammed into the barricade. Kenny attacks the left knee coming out of picture-in-picture. Kotaro Crusher for a 2 count. Kenny puts a knee bar on Moxley. Goes for a you can't escape, but it's countered with a released German suplex. Another German release by Moxley, and then a pump handle exploder by Moxley for a 2 count. He hits the X-Plex for another 2 count. We go for the rise of the Terminator coming out of picture-in-picture, which Omega connects on. We get Moxley hits the Paradigm Shift, but he doesn't go for the cover. Starts bringing chairs into the ring. He sets them up sitting face-to-face. Sits down in one, gets Omega to sit in and goes, hit me. So they start going back and forth, slapping and punching. Omega hits a V-trigger out of the chair, Snapdragon 2 times. We then get a German release, a V-trigger, and then a clothesline by Mox turns Omega inside out. We get the Death Rider for a very close 2 count on Omega. Dive by Moxley, catches a V-trigger in midair. That was awesome. We had a V-trigger to the back, and then a Tiger Driver 98 for a 2 count. He goes for 2 more V-triggers. The third one, Moxley catches, but then gets into another V-trigger. We then get a Ripcord V-trigger. I mean, this was... Whew. We get a one-winged Angel attempt, but then a wheelbarrow slam by Moxley for a 2 count. Paradigm Shift into the ringside. Heaters on the outside. The refs call for the dock. Even Don Callis comes out there checking on him. Moxley then grabs Kenny, pushes everyone away, grabs Kenny, throws him back into the ring. And then Don Callis is on the apron there, with the microphone saying he's hurt, he can't go. Moxley shoves him down, which then, the mic comes out of Callis' hand. Kenny picks up the mic, hits Moxley in the head with it, even though he hit him with the soft side first. Moxley apparently is busted open on it. 4 more V-triggers, a one-winged Angel for the win. We have a new AEW title champion, Kenny Omega. Callis comes in to celebrate. Then they immediately run to the back as if they done stole something. Tony Khan's at gorilla position yelling at them. Everyone in the back is yelling at them. Tony's calling this BS. I didn't like that because it was like, first off, Moxley had the Paradigm Shift, didn't go for the cover. Hit the Death Rider, got a 2 count. Paradigm shifts him into the heaters, and the match could have ended there, and he still would have kept the title. He decided to grab Kenny and bring him back into the ring. He went to hit Don Callis, who dropped the microphone, which then Kenny used for his win. So relax, everybody, relax. Callis says, and then Marvez tracks them down as they're running into the to their car. Callis says, they'll tell everyone about it on Tuesday. And Marvez says, well, Dynamite's on Wednesdays, and goes, no, you'll find out on Tuesday. So eventually, obviously, it's not Dark. We then later find out it will be on Impact. There is some kind of common partnership between Impact Wrestling and AEW. Kenny will be on Impact on Tuesday. I know that there's been rumors about how much of a thing this is right now, what kind of stuff will be going on right now. Will it be like every week? Will it be just for a pay-per-view? Either way, the wrestling landscape has changed. because between they also have AAA. All we need now is New Japan. Obviously, no one can work with WWE because WWE doesn't want to work with anyone, despite Triple H saying we're open for business. Yeah, okay. But then right as we're about to go to to end, Eddie's on commentary saying that he wants Archer right now. Real great champion. Look what happens. That I don't think anything came of that. And there you have it. That is Dynamite for the week. Sting, new champion, Impact Wrestling. I might actually have to watch Impact Wrestling, or at least that portion of it, and say what happened. Who knows? Well, I'll definitely talk about it in my next week's AEW Week in Review. So there you go. As always, I give my match of the week, and how could it be anything but this AEW title championship match between Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley. Kenny Omega emerging victorious. He's the new champ. Moxley had a fantastic title run. But, this is what everyone's been waiting for. The best bout machine. The best in the world, Kenny Omega. Let's see if I can actually count how many fucking V triggers there were in this match. Hold on, let's see. So we get 1 V trigger, 2 V triggers, 3 V triggers, 4, 5 V triggers, 6 V triggers, 7 V triggers, 7 V triggers, 11 V triggers. 11 V triggers in this fucking match. Holy shit. Wow. So yeah, that was just fantastic. Huge Dynamite. It had the whole wrestling world talking. It was pretty much everything everyone was talking about. And Sting now too being a part of it. Holy shit. I am very excited for what AEW is about to do coming into the new year in 2021. Hopefully eventually they'll be able to get some what do you call it? People back, in the stands, and they'll be able to do something there. So there you have it. That's my AEW Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. You can also find the audio version on Podomatic and Apple Podcasts. I'll also be doing my WWE Week in Review. I've already posted my War Games preview and predictions. I'll be doing my review of that on Monday. So yeah, a lot going on this week. Huge week for AEW. I think that is absolutely just a testament to how great and smart the people are behind this are. So as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.